Hi, welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a bit of breaking news, a reaction to some breaking news. It's finally happened. It's official. Joelinton has signed on a new long-term contract with Newcastle United. This is massive news for the football club. An unbelievable player for this football club, a huge player for this football club. I'm absolutely buzzing that Joelinton has signed his long-term future to the club. We've been a bit worried about it. It's gone a little bit quiet over the last few weeks, but it's finally happened. And I can't wait to talk about it because I'm really, really excited about this news. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, please smash subscribe, come and join us. We're over 7,000 subs now, so loads of room for you here on the Evermore YouTube channel. Smash that button and come and join us. We'd love you to be part of the community. We've got a great community here, great chat in the lives and on all the videos as well, so smash that button. Like the video too, help the channel grow, and if you want to be a member, there is an option down there too for you. So let's get stuck into the main man himself. Yes, Joelinton. What a phenomenal signing this guy's been for Newcastle United. 40 million. He's Brazilian. And we fucking think he's brilliant as well. But we didn't always think that. When he first came to this football club, he was the number 9. He couldn't hit a barn door. He had loads of criticism, especially from the likes of myself. I'm going to hold my hands up and say that. The very first foray of me into this kind of football media thing that we're doing now was an article I wrote for True Faith about Joelinton. I couldn't understand why everybody kept giving the guy a chance because I thought he was terrible. Wow, there's egg on my face right now. I used to call those people Joe Disciples. I am a fully paid up member of the Joe Disciple fan club now, as everybody is, because this lad hasn't just, battered through all of that adversity and shown unbelievable resilience as a footballer and as a human being to get through all of that shit and abuse that he was getting to get to the stage that he's at now. But as a player as well, he's had the biggest character transformation arc I've ever seen in my life. Like I say, the only football I can liken him to is when, a young Welsh left back suddenly became the best left winger on the planet in Gareth Bale. Joelinton's rise to prominence is pretty much in the same breath as that. Really, what this guy has become has been sensational. He's a Brazilian international now as well. He's getting in the squads, alongside some of the best players in the world who are worth hundreds of millions of pounds. At 40 million pounds, he looks a fucking snip, doesn't he? But just an amazing story for Joelinton, and he totally deserves this new contract. I mean, the story goes that it was Dan Ashworth was the one slowing it all down, and it's very interesting now. Dan Ashworth has gone to prune his tulips in his garden, and he's still fucking there because Man United apparently aren't going to pay the money to release him. So prune away, Dan. Plant some bloody daffodil seeds if you want as well, you shithouse. Just wait for those wankers to come and get you. But going back to Joelinton, I'm so glad that Amanda Staveley and Darren Neils have taken the reins on this because they've got the deal done, which means we'll be seeing a hell of a lot more of this beautiful bastard at St James's Park doing things like this. And it's just brilliant for the club. It's not just brilliant for the club for the long-term future. It's brilliant for the club for the present right now because Joelinton, box to box, is probably one of the best midfielders in European football. There have been so many teams probably would have been sniffing around this contract situation. He's an absolute beast. He's a monster. He's built like a brick shithouse. He's quick. He can score goals. He can defend. He can attack in a second. And not only that as well, this could convince Bruno Guimaraes that his future lies at Newcastle United for next season and maybe seasons to come as well. And we're also going to have Sandro Tonali coming back from this long-term ban next season. So could we actually see that midfield trio of Joelinton, Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes? I mean, that's mouth-watering to see those three on form together. They only had a small, brief kind of cameo together at the start of the season before Tonali's ban and then Joelinton's injuries on and off. But if we could have those three together as that midfield three next season consistently, wow, we'd have one of the best midfields in the Premier League, in my opinion. But this is great news, as I say. Joelinton's buzzing about it. Brilliant interview by Newcastle United TV. Go and check it out if you haven't already. He talks about how his family settled here. His son's a Geordie. His son has a Geordie accent, says he wants to stay here forever, which Joelinton did say that he does want to go back to Brazil at one point in his career. And he said it with a smile on his face. But he praised the manager as well, said that Eddie Howe obviously has been fantastic for him since he's been there. That change of position has really been key, I think, in Joelinton's success at Newcastle. And he says that as well. He came through the academy playing up front and started in the first team up front, but he always liked to play in the middle, and that's when he ended up going back. And that infamous day that Kieran Clark got the red card against Norwich, and Joelinton's never looked back since then. And what a phenomenal midfielder this man has become. And this deal will probably make him one of the biggest players at the club, and he deserves it. He deserves every single penny of it, in my opinion. You've seen his influence that we've missed since he's been out injured. We haven't looked the same team at all. Teams have literally walked right through the middle of us because we haven't got this massive Brazilian wall in the way in the shape of Joelinton. And long may he, reign at Newcastle United. And let's hope he gets back, fully fit at the start of next season. I don't think he'll make it to the end of this season. I'll be shocked if he does. It might be 1 or 2 games at the end of the season. But, having Joelinton around as well at the club isn't just great for starting in the starting 11 and the influence that he brings, but it's also the help that he'll give the development, the likes of Louis Miley, the likes of Elliot Anderson as well. Those players, and even Joe White coming through. They look at someone like Joelinton, they see a guy who changed positions and made a position his own, and that kind of a thing is inspirational to young players. It really is, and having this manager around him as well, is obviously a match made in heaven. Eddie came out and praised everybody involved with the deal and said, Joey's an exceptional player and he's key to his squad, really. And he's so happy this deal has got done. I think we're all happy as well. It's a great feel-good factor to bounce into the Spurs game with, knowing that Joelinton's long-term future is going to be pinned down to Newcastle United. And hopefully, as I say, it'll also make Bruno settle a little bit in terms of his best buddy, his brother, as he calls him, signing the dotted line at Newcastle United and staying here for the long term. So just wanted to jump on and do a quick video about this. I'm absolutely buzzing about it. We wanted to wait until it was official on the club website before we did our reaction video to it. And it is official. Go check it out on Newcastle United website. Absolutely brilliant. Great interview with Joelinton as well. He just looks so happy to be here. His family's happy to be here. He wants to stay here for years to come, and hopefully he can lift some silverware in the next few years at this brilliant football club. But let us know in the comments below what you think about Joelinton staying. I'm sure, like every Newcastle fan, you're absolutely buzzing. As I mentioned at the start, smash subscribe, come and join us. We'd love you to be part of evermore. Like the video too, help the channel grow. We'll be back with some more Newcastle United content over the next few days. We've got the Spurs preview coming out, as well as the post-match for the Spurs game as well. So keep it evermore, guys, and we'll see you later. Take it easy.